All right, welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm Gina Naknak. I'm subbing for Jackson today, so I'm thrilled to be here with you today. I'm going to take you through personal branding and how to leverage LinkedIn to connect with clients and partners and collaborators. So, question, how many of us are on LinkedIn? Okay, almost everyone. How many of us are getting clients from LinkedIn? Okay. Well, we're going to change that today. So today we're going to cover why LinkedIn is really the best channel for client acquisition and personal branding, kind of the key branding elements, right? There's a lot that goes into personal branding, but for the sake of this conversation today, what are the key elements that you need to pull together to really nail your brand on LinkedIn? So really defining those key elements and how to optimize your profile. So we're going to turn it into a sales page, and then how to leverage LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find and connect with your ideal clients, what you say to them, and how to automate that outreach. So just a quick intro to me. I'm a social media strategist. I primarily specialize in branding, content, and partnerships. I spent the last decade in social. So for those of you counting, I started when I was like 10. But I really spent a majority of my time building influencer and social programs for a lot of the leaders across tech and media, brands like TikTok and Adobe. I've worked across corporate and startup and agency and freelance and consulting and coaching, the whole gamut. I've also been a video creator, sharing my personal and professional journey over the last 6 years. And I've managed to also monetize my social channels by selling services, doing brand sponsorships, affiliates, and digital products. So now I'm really focused on helping entrepreneurs create and monetize their personal brand. So how it started, in 2019, I was laid off from my corporate job of 5 years. I was like, my whole world was shook because for 5 years I was like so cush in this corporate role. And then when I got laid off, I was like, oh my God, I don't have a resume, I don't have a LinkedIn, like I don't know what to do. So then 2020 hit, right? And we all know what happened then. So I was legit unemployed for a full year. So this is me. I was sitting here writing my affirmations. I attract clients quickly and easily. It wasn't working, right? So I really doubled down on courses and learned how to start freelancing. During that time, a lot of that opportunity came from platforms like Upwork. But that wasn't enough, and so I'm like, I'm a marketer, I'm gonna market. And so I started creating content, promoting a lot of my services and my story on social. And what I found is that it was really great for branding and building a relationship with your audience, but it wasn't great at bringing in business. So I pivoted and I started DMing people on LinkedIn using Gary Vee's give, ask strategy. So my first high ticket client came from LinkedIn a year later. But what was crazy about that is that this client, I made one connection with them on LinkedIn. They kind of ghosted me, but still followed me on social for a full year. Never engaged with a content, no like, no comment, no story reaction. But a year later, they circled back with me and they're like, yo, we've been watching your story. We really appreciate your journey and seeing what you've done to build up your brand. We'd love to work with you to see how you can help us build our brand as well. That was a $15,000 contract. So after that, I was like, this is cool, like let's do more of this. So I challenged myself to make 50K in 90 days. And I documented and recorded the whole process, right? All the strategies I was using, what I was learning, what I was going through. By the end of that, I finished with 40K in 90 days. I went on to be a LinkedIn top social media voice, and currently I have calls booked on autopilot. This one is really key. 35% of my followers are my ideal clients, right? You think about these other platforms, you may have a ton of followers, but are they actually people that are gonna hire you? Like, this is one thing that's great about LinkedIn, is that you can get hyper-targeted in this way. In addition to that, I've been able to grow 55% followers quarter over quarter consistently all of 2023. So also a lot of room for organic growth on LinkedIn as well. So obviously you're here because you see the value in LinkedIn. I personally think that it's the best for client acquisition. A lot of people, because I help people across so many different platforms, right? Social is a whole, it's a whole world of different social channels. And they're like, which channel should I focus on? Should it be Instagram or LinkedIn, right? These are kind of like the top two. I think LinkedIn is the best because, for one, all of the decision makers are there, right? 4 out of 5 people on LinkedIn are making decisions in their business. It's the only platform where you can get hyper-targeted. You can find, connect, and build a targeted following of your ideal clients. And the community is super supportive and collaborative, right? Like, you hop on a message, people are like, what's up? What are you working on? How can we connect? How can we collaborate? It's a very supportive community as opposed to these other platforms as well. So personal branding for entrepreneurs. I just want to take temperature in here. So when you guys think about personal brand, what is the first thing that you think about? Is it content? Wow. Oh, okay. I'm like, we're all friends, so you don't be shy, right?
It's your name, right?
What's that?
It's your name and make a picture of what you do.
Content, yeah, with content, right? You would think that that's how you're promoting yourself. A lot of people think, okay, what kind of content should I create, right, when I'm thinking about my personal brand? I like to start with case studies. And the reason why is, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a professional service provider, you're a founder, you're a consultant, you're a coach, you're providing services, right? So what I like to do is start with case studies. First, looking back and thinking of all the people that I've helped, who are my favorite success stories? Why are they my favorite success story? What results did I get them? So when I think back on mine, I think about this media agency founder. We worked together for 3 weeks. Week 1, we tailored his offer. Week 2 was messaging. Week 3, he started doing outreach. Boom, landed his first high-ticket client. This client was also the founder of this medical practice that was like 30 locations nationwide and growing, expanding their practice. So literally, it was like the only client he needed, like all year. So he quit outreach after that. Did not even post one piece of content. So it's success stories like that we really want to think about, okay, how did I get him that awesome result? What process did I take him through? For me, we refined his offer, right? He was talking about it. I was like, tell me what you do. He said, I offer multimedia packages. I'm a freaking marketer and I don't know what that means. Like, what is a multimedia package? When he explained it to me, I'm like, what it sounds like is, it's really foundational content that your clients can use across web and social, right? It's kind of your about you, what you specialize in, your story, education, right? And so foundational videos for social and web. You have a clearer idea of what that is now versus I do multimedia packages, right? Small tweaks like this. Positioning, right? Profile optimization. I'm going to take you through how to optimize the heck out of your LinkedIn profile so it reads like a sales page. You won't even have to pitch. People are already going to, when you make contact with them, they're going to be like, what do you do? And I'll show you how we do that in a second. But working on that positioning, that messaging, what do you say? And then creating a process to do that outreach and set those appointments for sales calls. So the next thing that you want to define is your client. So who hired you? Think about their title, like what role they're playing in their organization, and what problem did they hire you to solve? And then what problem did you actually solve? Because like a lot of people think that it's one problem, but it's actually another problem, right? And then what was their biggest goal and challenge in accomplishing that, right? So really outlining these things up front is going to be key, because these are going to be the foundational elements that are going to shape all of your positioning and your branding and your marketing later. So breaking it down piece by piece like this is way more digestible than sitting in front of a blank page with the frickin' mouse blinking at you like, okay, what is my brand? What do I stand for, right? So the next thing is you're gonna craft who your ideal client is. In addition to kind of the demographics, like what is their title, what is their location, all of these things, these are my favorite targeting filters in LinkedIn Sales Nav. So in LinkedIn Sales Nav, you can target by company headcount. This is gonna give you a good indication of what size the company is, right? Maybe you only wanna work with enterprise clients. Maybe you only want startup clients. Maybe you only want solopreneurs. Their current job title, where they're at in the world, what industry they're in, profile language, especially if you're toggling between the US and Canada, because you know with the French. Recent updates, you wanna toggle on that they were active on LinkedIn in the last 30 days, just to make sure that people that are getting your messages are actually receiving them. Once you start getting into outreach, I'm gonna show you a process to reach out to 100 people a week. It's gonna start building up. So another thing that I suggest is keeping track of this and excluding anyone that you've already reached out to, so you're not just like hammering them all the time. So when you enter in all these filters, it's gonna distill down a list. I think a really good list size is about 1,000. The reason why is because you don't wanna have to page through hella results like day after day after day as you're grinding away. And 1,000 is a good kind of focus group where you can start looking at things like what messages got the best response rate, what is my acceptance rate, what is my reply rate, and start to pivot based on the results that you're getting here. All right, next we'll get into what is your offer. So I like to think about it like this. If we think about what is the result that you got, what is the process that you took them through to get that result, and what is your purpose? I think all of these things can filter down into a signature method. So what this looks like for me is the result that I get my clients is I help them turn LinkedIn into a client acquisition channel. That's ultimately what it is at the end of the day. With the branding and the content, ultimately when we distill it down, it's to get clients, right? The process that I take them through is I work with them on branding, content, and lead generation. Once they have these three things, they're boom, good to go, right? What is my purpose? What are all these skills, like why do I care about this? I really wanna utilize my expertise to empower entrepreneurs with the strategies and systems to bring their mission and their message to life. That's what I care about, right? So based on this, how do I brand it now into a signature framework or a signature method? So my framework is the connection to client conversion system. Under that, I have clarify, communicate, connect, and convert. Clarify is the branding piece. Communicate is the content piece. Connect is the lead gen piece. And convert happens at the very end of all of those things, right? So even though this is branding, these are all best practices. People teach this in different ways. There's actually a really big brand guru out there. I don't really look too much at competitors, I have to admit, because I don't want to, one, I don't want to copy, and two, I don't want to be distracted. But I got on a sales call with someone and she was like, oh my God, this is the exact same like system as this other big brand person. And I was like, oh, I'm onto something here, right? So it's all best practices, but the way that we brand it and make it our own is by including this creativity like this, right? Now it's mine. It's the client to conversion system, right? And then what's great is once you have all of the pillars of that framework, these are not going to be our content pillars. Boom. Because what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about everything that's related to my business. Branding, content, lead gen. Now I know what I'm creating content about. And it all flows back to my business. Providing value, educating, building trust, right? A lot of people think that content is going to convert. Content is not an acquisition tool. Only 1 to 3% of your audience is gonna convert. A lot of people are like, I'm gonna create content, I'm gonna build my audience. I'm like, we love that, but only 1% of them are gonna convert, right? Why is that? It's not that you're not great and you're not wonderful, it's just a lot of people, it's just not, they're not in the market, right? They just want the information. There are a lot of reasons why. So don't rely on just the content. Think about the content as more of the foundational element, giving value, ways to connect, but ultimately you need to have these outbound systems in place as well. All right, are you with me so far? Yeah. Okay, now let's jump into LinkedIn and how to optimize your profile so that it reads like a sales page. So first, try to travel over here. So first, the prime real estate is going to be your headline and your banner, right? So the banner, I would try to capitalize on this real estate as much as possible. Mine reads, making social media make sense and dollars.
See what you did there.
You like that? Branded. Key elements of what I talk about: branding, content, partnership. Even if they read nothing else, they have an idea of what I do, right? Headline, this is prime real estate. Actually, before I get into the headline. Photo, should I be smiling or not smiling? Existential questions everybody asks. I have data for you, 14% more profile views. Trust, no, like, trust, right? Very simple, just smile. Even if you don't like taking photos, I have an AI solution for you on the next page. Headline, okay, prime, the most important piece of real estate on your LinkedIn profile. So I'm gonna give you this format, I'm gonna read you mine, and then I'm gonna give you the template. Social media strategist that aligns tech leaders with clients and partners to grow their business. Branding and content to be as badass online as you are IRL.
In real life.
Thank you, Dr. Lightning, in real life. Right? Also a branded thing. Like, there's a generation that's gonna understand what this means, right? So, LinkedIn management, subtle CTA with the arrow down, right? I'm not saying visit my link in bio, subtle CTA. 2, right? Link here, what's awesome is you can customize this. So I put a little strong AI arm, right? LinkedIn services. Okay, one thing, have to call this out, so basic, please make sure your links work. I can't tell you how many links. I'm like, that is such a missed opportunity, right? So those are the key components. Let me take you through the next page. AI photos. Okay. Right! I mean, come on.
Download it right now.
Right? Only AI photo app that I've seen that creates realistic-ish images. And I've experimented with a few. It's called Momo. It even has a LinkedIn package. So there are different backgrounds. It's like office, it's business, it's blazer. Like the photo that Josh so kindly put on the LinkedIn or the Tech Alley magazine cover, that's an AI photo. I was like, it came in clutch, the $14 that I spent on it. I also created, I also created like a whole AI vision board. It was like, I was traveling, I was on Vogue. I was like, work, we love this. All right, back to the boring stuff. Profile. So about me section, actually not boring, because this is where you can leverage the about me section to read like a sales page. Please.
So back to the photos.
Yes.
Yeah. So my birthday was last Sunday.
Happy belated.
Happy belated.
Okay,
Capricorn season.
so I turned 69. I want to look
Ooh.
younger than that.
Where?
Oh.
So will that do that? Make me look 48-ish?
No, you need to lean into that, yeah. Yeah, own that.
Okay.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
policy.
Yes, absolutely. And you can get multiple. Like I got a ton. I will put a disclaimer on this. It gets like kind of addicting. You're like, oh, let me see me in Paris. Let me see me in, So they get you on a credit space. It's actually pretty fun. Yeah, if you guys try it, you have to tag me and let me know how it goes. Okay, now the About Me section. So I think that clarity equals conversion every single time. Always choose clarity over creativity when you're thinking about branding. A lot of people dump their whole lifestyle. They're like, it is about me. And they dump their whole life story in their About Me section. We're like, honey, we don't even know all that. We just want to know, how are you going to help me? So I would suggest a format very similar to this. I'll take you through mine, and then I'm going to point out the key points about it. So I help founders and entrepreneurs build personal brands that attract high-ticket clients, attract business-to-business partnerships, and attract investors for fundraising through LinkedIn branding, strategy, and content by creating a clear and comprehensive brand strategy, optimizing your LinkedIn profile, creating kick-ass content, setting up systems to connect with clients and collaborators. My past and current clients include, here's a link to my services, here's a testimonial to back all of that up, and then here's how to contact me, right? Who's your target? What are their goals? What is your offer? What is the process you take them through? Who do you work with ideally? How can I find your work? What do they say about you? How can I contact you? Yes?
So we're starting off our LinkedIn profile, and one thing I'm getting stuck on is the social proof, because since we're starting out, we don't have clients and testimonials. So
Yes.
what do you suggest we do?
Oh, I love this question. I was hoping somebody would ask this question, so thank you for asking. So if you don't already have testimonials or social proof yet, I would leverage LinkedIn Sales Navigator to get in front of your ideal clients and offer to do a beta. You're going to take on beta clients. You're not going to tell them you're a beta client, but you can say, hey, I see you're working on this. We just launched this program. We'd love to take you through it and see what kind of results that you can get. If they're awesome, it's like completely complimentary to you. All that we ask in exchange is for a testimonial to share what it was like to work with us, right? So 3 beta clients. 1, you get to test your framework, right? Then you get to get the testimonial and legit results. All right, profile in your featured section. First link, I would recommend lead magnet. Whatever you're getting to get their information, whatever value you're exchanging for their email, make sure you're building your own database always on all of the social platforms. Following that, it gets cut off here. So you have 3 opportunities to monetize, right? I would recommend a mix of something like services, testimonial, education. I reached out to this guy. He's an expert in lead generation and conversion. He's like, hey, just watch a couple of your videos. Love your nurturing strategy there with the featured posts, right? So people that are actually experts in converting appreciate this kind of strategy. Okay, profile. So there's a lot of real estate to capitalize here on the experience section. Don't just slap on founder and like, ta-da, like it's done. Okay, a lot of you are super gifted, talented individuals. You have a lot of experience and gifts and skills and ways that you can help people. So leverage the experience. Each position should represent whatever key thing you want them to know about you. So for me, I could have said social media strategist, boom, call it a day. I want people to know that there are 3 primary things that I specialize in. I started off my journey first as a content creator. Then I did social media strategy consulting, and then I moved on to personal brand strategy. But I do all of these things, right? Sometimes I help individuals, sometimes I help companies, sometimes I just do sponsored content for brands. Under all of that is Gina Naknak Consulting. That's all under my umbrella. Those are all of my consulting services, right? They're all there out in the open. So let's double click on one of the positions here. So personal brand strategist, first line, this is gonna be your challenge. Get it all in the first line before the line break, one sentence. Even if they don't hit read more, they know exactly what you do, right? I help entrepreneurs create their personal brand with clarity, develop a signature method, and implement systems that consistently attract leads. You instantly know what I do. You don't have to expand. Influential, and then you go into offer, process, testimonial, call to action. Right? This is exactly like the About Me section, but a mini one. And then top skills, 1 to 3, right? You can only see a few here. And then, cherry on top, add media, links, photos, videos that capture what it is that you're trying to tell here. So for me, it's like, this is the link to the program, these are my testimonials. All right, good so far? All right. Sales Nav. Okay, so then we're gonna get into Sales Nav. Our LinkedIn is all optimized and beautiful. Now we're like, all right, now we're gonna reach out to our people. So first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna create a lead list. We're gonna implement all of our favorite filters. And then we're gonna send 20 connection requests a day. Why 20? Because that's the limit on LinkedIn. Right, Monday through Friday. Who likes prospecting? You do! We need to hook up with you, do a prospecting power hour. Nobody likes prospecting, me included. I was kicking and screaming the whole time. I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm not in sales, I'm a marketer. And my business coach was like, then stay broke. So I was like, okay. What helped me is automation, yes! And we're gonna get to that in a minute too. But for those that are just bootstrapping it and doing it manual, throw 30 minutes on your calendar and not try to knock it out in 30 minutes. Not a big deal. 30 minutes a day. Do the best that you can in 30 minutes a day. Consistency is most important, right? Okay, organizing outreach. SalesNav is not an organization CRM tool at all. Okay, so you're gonna create your own file system within Sales Navigator, and in the leads tab, you're gonna create different lists. So these are the lists. You'll wanna do something like this. You wanna know who you sent the connection request to, you wanna know who you sent messages to, who needs a reply, a follow-up, book calls, et cetera, right? Put them in the list. When you put them in one, when you send them a connection request and they accept, and you send them a message, you put them in sent message and remove them from sent connection requests, right? Okay, now what do you say when you reach out to them? I did outreach all year, 100 outreach a week, all 2023. I've tested 1 million messages. And the ones that have worked the best for me were a direct and indirect approach. Direct approach is, Gina, read up on what you're working on at Good Energy Media, looks cool. Super curious to hear more about how your marketing and client acquisition is going on LinkedIn. Straight to the point, right? Indirect, hey Gina, I see you're in Vegas. I'm looking to connect with more entrepreneurs, so I thought I'd say hi. Did anyone get this message from me?
This morning.
Yes! Real life, it works! Thank you for being my living and social proof. So this is kind of how it goes. This is behind the scenes of my LinkedIn DMs. Next message I usually get is something like, hey Gina, I'm super curious about how you partner with individuals for promoting their personal brand. Can you share more info? I didn't even pitch him. I just said I'm looking to connect with more entrepreneurs. Why did he ask? Because he saw my headline. He saw my banner. He saw that I make social media make sense. And dollars. He's like, how do you do that? Like, let's tell you more. Open the door. Branding, content, strategic partnerships. Define the value, brand it, run it. Establish content pillars, align with thought leaders, and collaborate, cross-pollinate audiences. Want to chat more about what this could look like for you. Thorough but concise. Also, I don't know if you notice in all of my copy, a ton of line breaks. Do not dump paragraphs. Make it easy for them to read through and scan, right? Even I was like stuck on like, should I put a line break in between each bullet point? Like, this is how much I want to be concise. Enough information for them to say, yeah, absolutely. Always close with a question. Want to chat more? Is there a good time to connect this week? Would you like me to send more information over? Okay, now outreach. So this is dripify.io. I will put a disclaimer here that third-party tools are against LinkedIn's terms. But what I like about Dripify is that it stays within the limits, so it flies under the radar. So here in manage limits, you can manage how many outbound go out. So you shouldn't do more than 20 a day to stay under the radar, right? Only set operating times, 9 to 5 in your time zone. No messages go out before or after that. Not suspicious at all, right? Setting those messaging limits. Another thing that I like is it shows you what your acceptance and reply rate is. 50% reply rate, 37%, or I'm sorry, 50% acceptance rate, 37% reply rate. You know what the reply rate is on email? 1 to, oh, please. Oh.
The open rate is only like 10% or something like that.
Yes.
That's not a reply.
1 to 10%. Right? Hella low. 37%. Another thing that I love about Dripify is that because you set your 30 minutes a day and you're going to be doing 100 outreach a week, that means you're going to be setting out 400 connection requests a month, right? So those are going to stack. You can't get more. You shouldn't let this accumulate to more than 1,500 or it's going to flag LinkedIn. LinkedIn police, right? Woo! So withdraw your requests every couple of weeks. You can do hundreds at a time. It's a mass withdraw. I was literally, when I first found out, I was like, I had like, I don't know, 1,400, and I was like manually like trying to remove them all. So yeah, I wish I would have known about Dripify back then. But this is why I love Dripify. So many great reasons to use Dripify. You know, it does it automatically. You can also add team members as well. So if you want to like assemble like a sales team, you can add them here. All of the messages go into this inbox. And then you can also set up campaigns, right? So I'll show you what that looks like here. So what's great is when you go on LinkedIn Sales Nav and you create your lead list, you drop it right here into the LinkedIn search feature. Boom, drop the URL. Import all of them. On this list, there's 1,600, right? Hit max so that it imports them all. Then you're going to create a sequence. Mine goes something like this. View their profile, wait an hour. Send an invite, wait a day. If they accept that, send them a message. If they don't reply to that, wait 2 days. And then send them a follow-up message. If they don't reply after that, stop sending them messages, because once I send 3 follow-ups, they're already pissed at me. So I learned that the hard way. I only followed twice. Also, on the other side, if they don't accept the connection request, you can also have it mimic actions, like go on their profile and like a post. Wait 5 days. If they still don't reply, then withdraw their connection request, so that way you don't have to manually withdraw it later. All right, that was a lot. Are you guys still with me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I know that was a lot of information. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to hear. So, yes, please.
My question was to verify. I get that a lot. You know, I have one profile, and I try to make it match to the phone, but it's different. I need the same people. If on my computer they do my phone, I cannot get it to work right, to synchronize. But anyway, I get to verify. And I haven't done it yet, because I just say, I get to verify, it's me, you know? So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's good to verify. It just gives you cred in the LinkedIn algorithm. They have some sort of notice on LinkedIn, like it's like, you'll get 60% more profile views if you verify your profile. You know, I think LinkedIn is one of the platforms that they're like really serious about it. I didn't want to do that too because I'm like, you want me to show my freaking ID and all this? Like, what is this sus? Like, I don't want to do this, right? But it's like any sort of verification, and it just depends on your audience. Some people may want to know that it's you legitimately who they're speaking to. Other people are like, I don't really care about that. But according to LinkedIn, it does give you a boost in the algorithm if you do have that, if you play by the rules. Yeah. All right. Yes, please.
Question about using a LinkedIn business page versus your personal profile, because I know you need a business page to actually run ads.
Yeah.
And how do you balance the posting between both, or just doing one or the other?
Sure, absolutely. So I will turn the question back on you. If someone is reaching out to you for services, you do career coaching, right? Justin does career coaching. So if a career coach reached out to you, would you prefer to get a message from them from their business page or from the founder, from the coach? Yeah. People want to build relationships with you. Brands are trying to be creators. Creators are trying to be brands. But ultimately, it's like we have the leg up. People want to build relationships with us.
Can I segue on that question?
Yes, please.
Because, yeah, I have a similar thing, but I do two things primarily. So I always thought that you can see the two things I do. I'm a filmmaker and actor, so I said what I also do on the side. You know, I sell insurance, insurance broker. So I didn't need two separate pages. So I thought, well, okay, let me see both things I do. I have contacted people on both sides. So is that a problem for me to not differentiate or what?
No, I mean, I think like you should have a business page, a profile, right? And I don't know if I harped on this when I was going over the profile optimization thing, but another thing that like just gets me is people will list their company. A lot of times if it's their own business, it will just say the business name and then the icon, the logo, there's no logo. Instant shot in credibility, right? But people are like, how do you even do that? You have to have a company page, right? The company page, you put all your company, it's like a website, right? You put all your company information there, upload the logo, so then it looks pretty on your profile, right? But the company page should function like the website, and your personal page should function as like your social channels, right? So when it comes to content, maybe you will repurpose some of that content that you create on your company page, because it would make sense to kind of have that foundational content there, but it's not going to be your primary mode. It's going to be more of like, if you check on my website, I have one.
Maybe I misunderstood your question, but I feel like were you asking if you could have one page and list both of the different things you do? Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, because that's what I have. I just have one page.
I feel like that would get confusing, or at least it would be hard for you to target who you want, because I think people who are looking for insurance are going to be very different from people who are looking from a filmmaker.
Oh, okay.
I think you should go through the labor of having two separate pages, unfortunately. It's a pain in the butt.
Or, you know what I would do is I would say you're going to have your different positions, right? Sorry. What's that?
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
So also, your business page on LinkedIn is going to be for your brand awareness. Your personal profile is going to be where you're going to generate leads. Also, LinkedIn is a B2B platform, business to business. So if you're selling insurance to people, LinkedIn may not be the best platform for you. But if you're promoting yourself as a production movie person to other businesses or as a career, then that may be the better option to be on LinkedIn for that reason.
I'll also add on to that, I think that you're a multi-passionate and talented individual, like many of us are. So what I would do is I would say, optimize your profile to prioritize whatever you're prioritizing at the moment, right? Maybe you're not prioritizing filmmaking. Maybe you want to leverage LinkedIn to sell your insurance, which is, I think it's great for being able to target for something like that because you can target by geography, right? I want to talk to all the people in Vegas, right? So what you can do is you can have the filmmaker, but it will be, so this is like one company. Below that, it has your previous experience. So I would just either end the filmmaker for 5 years, ended recently, so you can have the insurance position at the top, right? And then so the first thing that they see is the insurance. They might not even scan the whole profile. So I would just say optimize for whatever it is that you're prioritizing in your business at the time. Does that help? Okay. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Cool. More questions, please. Yes?
How standard is it to have multiple LinkedIn profiles for different audiences? I know it's technically against TOS, right?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know how standard it is. I do understand how it makes sense because it's so niche. Everyone talks about niching. And I think it works from that perspective, right? If you just want to have one profile that's dedicated, like even me, I offer social media strategy to businesses, but I don't talk about that. I focus on personal branding because what I've noticed is even if I'm pitching personal branding, they still want to talk to me about social media anyways, So I think in that sense, like if it's very polar opposites, I could see it making sense. But I think that if you're an individual and you're kind of toggling across all, I don't think it's necessary to have them all, especially if your audience can cross-pollinate. Can your audience cross-pollinate?
It's more that I'm building something completely different, and
Yeah.
I don't want my existing network polluted by whatever content I may be doing because they were never intended for that to begin with.
Yes, then absolutely, I think it makes sense to start something new in that case as well. Because you think about it, the way the algorithms work is once you post, it sends it out to your audience. If that small group of that initial audience likes it, then it opens it up to a broader audience, right? So if you're not getting engagement kind of that first round because your audience isn't engaging with that content, you're never going to get traction in the algorithm. So in that case, I do think it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question, do you follow the same philosophy for LinkedIn as on IG and Facebook?
So yes and no. So for Instagram, what I like to do is prioritize LinkedIn because once you have the brand book for LinkedIn, you can just copy a lot of that information onto Instagram, right? And the content as well and all of that. But what I like to set up for each social channel to turn them into social acquisition channels is, one, I think you need the branding, cohesive branding, especially on Instagram. Everybody's like, nobody does a curated feed. As a brand person, I don't believe in that. I believe everything should be polished and cohesive. So, but the three pillars of that are branding, content, and some sort of social acquisition, some sort of acquisition funnel to bring people in, the outbound. Because there are two ways that you're going to get to your ideal clients on social. You're going to get them through inbound. They see your content, they inbound. And then you have to do outbound as well to get targeted about who you want to connect with. People in Vegas, artists, filmmakers, people interested in functional medicine, right? Yeah?
Touch? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Can you touch more on the difference between the personal profile and the business one? I think I heard either you or you say that the personal is for leads and the business is for more like your website. So can you just clarify?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that I see it is like your company page on LinkedIn is almost like your website. It's just a brand, it's a piece of brand real estate, right? So your personal social profiles, though, that's more of like you doing one-on-one interactions, building community, creating that content. You're the one that's going to be like in the videos, writing the content. That's going to be more of like you, as opposed to like the company page. So I would think about the brand LinkedIn page as a website, and I would think about your LinkedIn profile as like a social profile that's actually going to like have conversations, build that community and those relationships and share that value. And then anything that you want foundational that's like related to your program or, you know, more about the business, that's more of like the brand stuff, right? Where I would say like, you know, these are the 3 pillars of your coaching program. So maybe you have like on the featured section, it's like, you know, all of that content, right? Yeah. Please.
Not directly related to LinkedIn, but I saw it on the slide. You mentioned your email. I noticed it said G@. So is there a particular reason why you picked just like one letter, or this is not Gina, or like how do you approach that branding?
So all of my good friends call me G. Yeah. No strategy behind that, just love.
So to say your last name twice, was that a marketing strategy? Knack?
No, that was my, you know, I apparently I meant to be a marketer, you know. That's my defining characteristic. No, that's my real last name. I like to say, yeah, it's not a layup to a joke. I was like, haha. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I tell people my name, I say I'm Jerry R. Smith. The middle initial R, period after.
Yeah.
I say the entire thing. People tend to remember me there.
Yeah. I love that. All right, cool. Well, I just wanted to leave you with some resources. So I know that was a lot of information to take in. Hopefully you guys got a lot of value. So first is your option, of course, is to DIY it, right? Use all of the tools and the frameworks that I've shared today, piece it all together and kind of tackle that learning curve. I put together a guide for you. This is mostly about how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. It's a bit different than what I went through today, but still a lot of the foundational things that can be a good guide for you. Or if you want to work with me and you're like, look, this is just a lot, I would rather work with you to develop these things. I work with my clients on developing their personal brand on LinkedIn and setting up that client acquisition funnel. So what we do is we work together on a weekly basis and we start putting together your brand book and defining your positioning, your offer, your ideal client profile, your brand voice, and your content pillars. This happens by just an interview. Hop onto a call with me. I take you through a series of questions. You just speak stream of consciousness. You don't have to figure anything out. I just take everything that you tell me. I help craft this brand. I put it into a document and you refine it as you see fit. The second part is I'll audit your profile and provide optimization recommendations. Done for you. All of the copy, done. Based on your brand book, everything I know about you, this is what I recommend. Copy and paste onto your profile. The other thing is we'll create 20 short form video clips. This can be taken from the interviews that we do when we're working on your brand book, or we can do a 1 hour podcast style interview, you know, have the whole production set up, and so it's very polished. Some people like just pulling it from our weekly talks because it's more authentic. Some people want something a little bit more polished. It's up to you. I'm happy to do either. I'll also set up your LinkedIn sales nav, put in all those features, create your lead list. I'll also set up your Dripify. So all of the outreach, automation, setup, sequences, all of those connection requests will go out. You don't have to worry about it. The only thing that you'll manage is all the inbound stuff. People that are like, tell me more, send me more information. How can I hop on a call with you? All right, and then this is my LinkedIn. So if you're not already connected with me, please connect and let's keep in touch. I want to see your AI photos. Thank you. All right.